Welcome to the TSL Podcast. I am Steve Mayeda. I'm your host of this podcast and the founder of The Sexual Life, as well as Austin Men's Development. And today we are talking about creating sexual tension using rapport and connection. We're going to talk about 3 specific ways where you can do that. And so in like 2 minutes, even 20 seconds of a conversation, you're going to be able to get a connection. You're going to be able to get a connection that sticks and builds so much sexual tension that literally anything can happen and that woman will be coming back to you. It's really, really cool. It's super easy, but you got to do it. So we're going to map that all out for you to do it. So I want you to do it. Now, first and foremost, if this is something that you want to learn about, we have the best thing for you, literally. If you go to the free stuff link down below, you can download the Instant Connection course. This is what you got to do, man. You got to download that course. It's a 4-part video series, and that will help you with exactly everything that we're doing. Man, you can go through the course in about, a day, but really to really dive into it and go through it. There's so much material to it, so many exercises that you can do that to really master it will take you about a month, but that's a great investment for a free product. But it doesn't end there because you can also download our different PDFs that we have. But more importantly is that I want you to interact with us. Go join our communities. That's what this is about. This call, we've been talking for about an hour about this topic, a little bit less than that. And so many guys spoke about the importance of rapport and connection. You want to be a part of our communities. If you want to be on our calls, the MD Excellence community is the place to start. So check those out. You can find it all in the free stuff link, but hands down, get the Instant Connection course, do it, and be a part of this. So let's get into this. So first off, what is rapport? What is sexual tension? And why do we want these things? So sexual tension is something that's super important because we want to be able to talk to women, but the road to talking to women and to have sex with them and to have all those adventures we want is dependent upon how much sexual tension we can build. And we can do it instantly. We were made to have sexual tension be felt. We were made to have that. And one more thing, guys, is this is all done in one take on these calls. And this is a Wednesday night call that we're having on our TSL online call. But if I missed anything, it'll be in the show notes down below, so take a look at that. But sexual tension is something that is built inside of us. We have it to be able to, move us together. And so many of us don't take advantage of it. In fact, I'll get to that because this was something that we really spoke about a lot in the off time when the guys were talking about rapport, is that it doesn't matter about who a person is, their social value or anything. What matters is if we build that connection. And if we get it on a deep level, we're all made for it, that it overrides almost everything. So our tension, our sexual tension is a part of that born to be quality, that quality deep within us where we can access it. All right. So this is the thing, is we want to build that sexual tension in tandem with connection. Now, connection is defined, or rapport is defined by I care about what you're saying and you care about what I'm saying. In fact, we both care about how we come off to each other, and there's meaning to it. Once that happens in a conversation, certain things stop. So this is how you know you're in rapport. And this should happen quick. If rapport takes you more than 2 minutes to accomplish in a social setting, and again, if you're having problems with this, Instant Connection course, Austin Men's Development community, get there, fix your fucking self. This is easy. There's no excuse. And those are free things where there's no excuse for you to excel in these ways. So one of the things that you're going to know if you're out of this mode of the nervousness and the just meeting somebody is that you stop worrying about stuff. You stop caring about social value. You stop being insecure about things. You can free flow. You stop your social anxiety, your approach anxiety actually halts. Once you get into that rapport conversation, I care about you, you care about me, these things go away. Why? Because we were born to have it. We were made to be able to connect with each other. Now, here's the even better part. Once we can add some intent to that, we can start building sexual tension. I know there's a lot of moving parts going on right now. I'll put this into a conversational structure. And like I said, I'll cover three ways to access it, or the 3 things you're going to look for to tip yourself into rapport. But this is what will happen when you start to add sexual tension. You won't need to worry about, hey, what's the line of how we can go on a date? These things will happen. She will say them. She will say yes to them. When you do jump on the edge and jump over the edge to ask for her number, or when you do jump to make some sort of statement of intent, it will be easy for you. You'll be propelled to do it, but also it's going to get an expected response. And sometimes you will get no's, but there's a big difference with being rejected for something that you never tried for So that means you didn't really get rejected because you weren't really being yourself. You didn't really put yourself out there, and you're getting to know and you're bitching about that. And then you're going to start bitching about all these other problems in your life, about insecurities and so on. But then there's one where you actually do put yourself out there. You put who you are out there and you get rejected, and that just hurts. And then it goes away. It's a big difference in that. We'll talk about that on another podcast a little bit later tonight, because that's an issue that's happening now. But so we want to build that combination and connection of sexual tension and connection. I care about you, you care about me. Well, there's intent within there. So how do we do that? Well, the three things that we're going to look for when it comes down to rapport is we're going to look at these tipping points. So once you cross over these tipping points, you are in rapport. Okay, and we're going to explain them briefly, but I'm going to keep this as brief as possible. Again, check out that instant connection course to really learn this. It's free. It's free. Super easy. All right. So number one is unique qualities. When I notice something unique about them, and I can't just notice it, it's that I notice it and they understand that I understand it. Okay, so it could be their hair, it could be how they stand, it could be their way of talking, it could be their unique way of thinking. There's so many different ways to look at unique qualities, but when I understand and can see a unique quality about them, or better yet, they understand one about me, I am no longer in a superficial social setting. We are now in rapport. We are now in that point of where we're born to connect with one another. All right. So that's the first one. And we'll cover some modes of dialogue on that. Number two is going to be eliciting values. So everybody has a certain set of values that they have. This could be they value their family, they value honesty, they value certain traits or morals, they value their work ethic, they value their spiritual beliefs, they value certain things about themselves. And when they talk about that, or they get you talking about it, you are going to be in rapport. All right. And the third one is of this tipping point is going to be choice. When they choose to be in this conversation with you, and this is the most elusive of them all, but when they choose that, you are in rapport. Now, to explain this, what this means, and so this could get kind of tricky in application, and you actually going out there and doing it will really make you understand this like that. Once you start going out there and doing this, you'll get it immediately. All right. And that's the beauty of the stuff that we teach here. It will work. Okay. So with choice, we stimulate a choice in some way. We could say like, well, I like you, and I don't know if I'm going to say this, but like, can I be honest with you? Can I? Or are you ready to hear this? They're going to then make a choice in their head of going, yeah, I'm ready. And I could say, no, really, are you ready? Because it's very serious for me to say it. And it means something to me. I don't know if it means something to you. So I mean, we can just talk about something else. We were fine there. Now that's baiting, and I'm doing it in a way where it's, drawing them to want more and so on. But they are making a choice to want to hear what I have to say. And in that choice, they are now stepping into my conversation, which is going to be a deeper conversation. So that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense for you. So the three ways would be to cite unique qualities and connect on that, elicit values and connect on that, or stimulate a choice and then connect on where that takes you. Now, there's tons of different techniques and modes and models and methods to get there, but if we keep it around there, that's super important. Now, a couple things that we touched on here is that the you before you get into rapport is going to feel nervous or be, randomly talking about stuff, or you might have anxiety. There might be an excess of humor, an excess of excitement. What happens when you're in rapport is you get relaxed. Okay, so these are some of the traits that happen with the phenomenon of being in rapport is you get relaxed, you get comfortable. All right, you start being inspired to want to talk to them. You feel that they know you, and you feel that you know them. And now most likely you've been in a conversation like that. That might be with a family member and so on. But what if you could do that with literally every single person on the street? That's what I want to cover with you now. So we're going to think of those three qualities, and we're going to think of ways where we could connect with them, all right, almost instantly. And again, instant connection course, download it, because that will show you how to get there, all right? And if you have questions on that, you can also tag me on the Austin Men's Development Board, and myself and probably a ton of other guys will answer it for you, because this works. And because it works, people have done it. And because people have done it, we have a community about it. And because we're cool, they'll help you out as well as myself. So it's pretty no-brainer, guys. You want to go out, you want to connect with people in 20 seconds to 2 minutes. If it takes you longer than 2 minutes, you're doing something wrong, or that situation's got to be extreme. but like you can make this happen. Okay. So how we're going to do this on unique qualities through conversation and build in sexual tension so that they're going to want us. Super easy. All right. Super easy. So what we're going to do is we're not going to cover the opening phase of the conversation, but let's just say it happened. You know, we did our standard stuff of like, hey, how's it going? In fact, God, this is what you guys should always be doing. You should state a unique quality as soon as you can. So you can say, hey, how's it going? Oh, man, I just want to talk to you because, you know, my friends were over there and they're smoking cigars and I hate it when I'm not smoking a cigar and they are, blah, blah, blah. What's your name? And just say, you know what? You remind me of a friend. Boom, unique quality. You remind me of somebody that I know. This is one of the best things that we can do because almost everybody that you meet probably reminds you of somebody that you've known in the past. You don't have to be right. You don't have to manipulate them. You don't have to trick them. This is all the way for you to get to know something about them. So first and foremost, for a unique quality, I want to notice something about them, right? And so generally I go to noticing it like, hey, you remind me of a friend. Now, in that, they really do remind me of a friend. Now, from that, that friend has some unique personality traits. So I could say something like, man, you remind me of my friend Genesee. She's like super, super loud chick. Like she's been on like it's the funniest thing. She has been on the cover of so many articles because somebody just randomly took a picture of her and they used that picture. They didn't know her, but like whatever it is, people used her picture as a stock photo just because like she looked cool or whatever. It's happened like 3 times, so it's nuts. So now I'm just kind of like talking about who she is. But now let's start laying out some traits, right? Some unique qualities, even more unique about her. So I could say the craziest thing about her is that super fun, super excited. But what I like about her most is that she's always wanted to experiment and push herself over the edge, but she has like a big heart and sometimes that sucks her back in. It's like you notice her for her sense of humor, but oh man, she pushes herself in like so many different ways. Now, I'm going in a certain direction with that. All right. I am going absolutely in a certain direction in that, but it's a unique quality of you remind me of a friend to this friend who has these certain traits. Do you have them? All right. Now, the traits where I am proposing to go within this is some stuff about this friend of mine. Is that I've known her for a long time. In fact, I haven't talked to her in a while, but nonetheless, is somebody super fun. You notice her, super exciting person, and all that stuff with her being in magazines is true, but through like a stock photography thing of or people pirating her Tumblr page or some shit. But the thing is that she is super fun and loud and exciting and all that sort of stuff, but she also is super experimental. And so she'll take chances in her life, in her relationships, and in her sex life. This is the direction that I'm going. But when she gets hurt, it very much affects her. So my whole point is I'm taking this idea of a unique quality and moving it into a topic of sexuality. So I want to talk about this girl's personal ways of choosing men, having relationships, being sexual, why she doesn't get what she wants. If she does get what she wants, why isn't she talking to, that guy now? Or why isn't he here? Why isn't she off in Belize, doing whatever, whatever her dreams are. So I'm trying to get to that mode of sexuality with her that quick. And I will. All right. If I can get there, if I can get her to accept that I have a friend that she reminds me of, I'm good. And I could be wrong. So here's the thing. She could be like, oh yeah, no, I'm actually very, very cautious. And I'll be, well, really? Because like my friend, she, let's just bring this out here. She'll date guys and she'll take a big chance on it. And it'll be like a huge thing. And she's like very open with her urge to connect with somebody, doesn't feel guilt about, if she hooks up with some guy. So now I'm starting to introduce ideas about sex to her, right? And I'll say, but like when she gets hurt, man, it's absent all the shame that most people feel. And it's just hurt. So what affects you the most in a relationship? Like, actually, well, let me tell you, what do you like most about a relationship? What do you like most about the last guy you met? And so now I'm just moving into those sexual tension topics. That's key. All right. So this is key how this is working. Now, again, if this is too hard for you to understand, super easy fix. You want to know about talking about general topics into more specific topics, which is what I'm doing now. That's all in the Instant Connection course. All right. And our place to cover that as a community for free is the Austin Men's Development Board. So this is something that is very, very easy to do. All right. It sounds difficult because you haven't done it. And literally everybody can do this. I've taught it over and over again since 2009, since actually 2007, 6, but as it was titled rapport cycling and the certain techniques. 2009. But the thing is I'm trying to drive in that. Now, another way we could start going for unique qualities and see how I do this. It'll be the same pattern. All right, I notice a unique, obvious quality about them. Okay, that's very easy to accept. Then I start making presumptions, or perhaps you could even say cold reads about what that might mean, or maybe it might mean this and that. And then I'll see if that's true. Okay. And then I'll start explaining why I went into all of this. So it could be super easy. I'm talking to somebody, say, oh yeah, man, blah, 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 blah. Let's say if you're going to learn techniques, you should do it with the easiest possible person. Okay. So this could be something like you're in a grocery store and there's the checker there. You don't have a lot of time, but this happens all the time in Whole Foods. I'll be there and you'll have the little express line and be like, hey, how's your day? I said, man, you have your haircut is awesome. And it just, I don't know, it makes me notice your hair and your smile. It's weird. But the last time I really felt this, it was a good day for me. Do a lot of people say that to you? Like that you bring out, and I mean that in a real way. I'm not meaning that, oh, you bring out good vibes, but like, do you get that? Like what does that mean to you? Because it really, I want to see if you understand where I'm coming from, because it's kind of important to me. And so now I'm in that kind of like that third phase of explaining and really seeing if this is true. Okay, so the first thing was just noticing the hair and smile, what that kind of meant, and this assumption of what that might mean, right? In basically saying like, all right, it makes me feel good. And it's kind of vague, but now I'm really pressing like, is this true? Is this true how I think it? All right. So very simple, unique quality very quickly. And I mean, man, within 20 seconds, I'm getting there. And again, you'll just get this all the time. It just means a little bit of good tonality, a little bit of smile in your voice and on your face. And you'll be able to pull this off and just say, but like, does feeling good really mean that to you? Like, man, do you really value connecting with somebody? When's the last good experience that you had? All right. So now I'm starting to check in, just start qualify them on that. And so now once this happens, I could say, to add in that sexual tension, I could add intent to that. So I just say, well, what feels good for you? Like, what's the last time you really felt good? Just be like, well, I went swimming or dancing. And I'm like, is that just because swimming and dancing, or because you love what came out of you then? Because I'm trying to get to the deep part. Quick, man, quick. But we're built for quick. We're built for connection. We're built for seduction. So I can get that quick. So I get it quick. And guess what? She says, well, I mean, yeah, I don't know. This is a deep question. I just said, man, look, you're beautiful. You're hot. You're beautiful, hot. And I know a lot of people don't say that, but or a lot of people say, you're hot because of other things. But I'm just saying that. So just right now, this is a real moment, and we just had it. And I got to go. You got to go. Just tell me your number. I'm going to write it down, and we'll hang out. And she may say no. And if she does say no and it's at a workplace, I'll usually ask twice because there's so much nerves wrapped around it. And I'll just say, look, just give it to me and take the chance. And I know there's probably a policy about not doing this, but I'll just write it down. All you have to do is say it, and I'll text you, and you don't have to answer my text, but just take the fucking chance. All right. So I'll usually do that twice, just because in that sort of environment, maybe a little bit, it takes a while to pop people out of it. But that will close so many of the times. And because that happened fast and it was so like destiny filled, a lot of times those will stick. Now, something that goes up fast can come down really fast too. So you have to be able to back it with some real rapport. So that's the unique quality. I take a unique quality, I move it into something that has meaning, and then I connect and state intent. There, the intent was the driver of the sexual tension. All right. But remember, as soon as I get that connection, as soon as I get the real her, I relax. All that anxiety goes away. You social anxiety guys need to know that. Now, the second thing that we were talking about is that we want to elicit a value. All right. So this is the second tipping point of rapport. To elicit a value is key. Now, I was already kind of doing that there with those, and you'll see these all kind of collide and mix with one another. The tipping points of rapport, which is the unique qualities, the eliciting a value and stimulating a choice. All that what I just did in the last two examples stimulated all of those things. But let's highlight this eliciting a value. So in eliciting a value, what I want to do is I want to base that on qualification. So let's say we're at the bus stop and we're waiting, we're going to work and the train's coming or whatever it is, and there's a bunch of people there, and we just go up to somebody and we say, man, it's late again today. Man, what's going on? So where are you going to? Or what's your stop? I always like to meet people when these things happen. So I build a small talk conversation and those things happening. And again, if you just have a smile in your voice and a smile on your face, a lot of stuff really works for you in this. And sometimes people say no. Just know if they don't know you and they're telling you no, they're not actually rejecting you. They're empowering a fear that they have, or just them not being in the right situation to talk. It's nothing personal. So stop making it about that. If you're making it personal, remember, we'll talk about this in another video. But that's something deeper about yourself. There's consistent characteristics and problems that come up with that. So the thing is I'll be in the small talk conversation to the bus stop and I'll say, you know what? I always like to know this about somebody, but like, what is something that you live by? All right, it's a huge question. I'm just going to jump to it, right? I'm always going to jump to it. And the reason why I jump to it is because I know if I jump to it, what's going to happen? They're going to be like, why are you asking such a big question? I can't answer this question. Do you always do this? They're going to get freaked out. So they're actually going to have a couple responses that I can predict very easily of one, being confused, two, being somewhat agitated by it, all right? Three, answering right away, but somewhat superficially. And possibly four, they might, start getting in some like of a defensive mode about it. And that kind of falls into the getting angry or frustrated about it. But so what normally happens is they're confused or they answer right away. Okay. And sometimes they do get a little bit frustrated and defensive about it. So I can predict that those things are going to happen. But if we're working social dynamics, right, a strategy, most people aren't thinking that way. You want a technique that just works without you being you or you having to think on the fly. There's no art in that. There's no beauty in that. But I'm going to tell you right now, instant connection, baby. You download that, you're going to learn how to do it properly. Okay. So the thing is that we could say something like, man, what is it that you really live for? And so I'm going to get the answer of like, oh man, whoa, do you always ask these questions? These are crazy. Oh man, geez, they start laughing and getting all nervous and stuff. Okay, so super easy. Guess what? Almost the same response is going to happen to that if they go like, why did you ask me? Do you really like that's like rude? Geez, nobody can answer that question. And it's going to be the same answer for if they say like, family. Okay, so they just gave me a superficial answer. That was the last one. They gave me a frustrated answer. That was the second one. And the first one that I did, they gave me a confused answer. Okay, so my answer to all of those is pretty much going to be the same. I'm going to do a buffer. Okay, and we talk about this in a social anxiety video. I'll put a link to it in the show notes and all that sort of stuff. But where we break this down really, really clear. Okay, but I'm going to do a buffer. Then I'm going to do a ground. I'm going to explain myself. And then I'm going to qualify them again. And there we will have a connection. And in that, if I add intent to it, I build the tension. Okay. And this will take me about a minute. All right. So I say, okay, what is your biggest value? What do you live for? And they say, they give me one of those answers. I say, okay, I know it's a big question. And I didn't mean to do that and come off as like a bad person or whatever. Like, I don't know, like to scare you in any way. But the thing is that, to me, there's so many things that I woke up today thinking about that was just in my head when I was brushing my teeth, when I was putting my clothes on, getting ready for work and thinking about my schedule and getting overwhelmed with my schedule. And then all of a sudden when I get in the mode of my day, I forget about them. And the most important thing for us, or for me, is to connect with the world and feel, God, to live my life. And it's just a lot of people don't do that. And I just wanted to know if you could give me 5-10 seconds of what your life is right now. Like what do you live for? Because I know you've thought about it today. Like what were you thinking about today that just warmed your heart and who you are? Like what is that? What is that value that you have that I'm trying to elicit from you? And if I can elicit that value, I can immediately move towards intent. So she may still, oh man, she'll be calmed down at this point, but there still might be that confusion there. The first one, right? Of her going, God, I don't know. I guess, my family and it's just, but she's there. She's there thinking about it. She's there thinking about that 5 to 10 seconds that I'm asking for of what is the real her. She's giving it to me, but because she hasn't really articulated to so many people, she's having trouble with it. She's still showing it. And that's an expression. Once I have that expression, I can say, man, look, I don't know what your situation is, if you're single, if you're married, in a relationship, but you are beautiful. And if that beauty isn't recognized, honored, kissed, felt, dated, man, I just want you to know you're missing out. Because I love what I see right now. And That gives me faith in women and femininity. It's amazing. It's beautiful. God. Anyway, if you are single, let's connect. Let's talk. Like, no bullshit. All right. So now there's sexual tension. There's all this stuff built up, and that will sustain me. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. All right. So that's super cool to elicit a value. Again, if that conversational stack was too difficult for you, and again, let me just pick another situation topic really quick. It's super, super easy. It's going to go the same way. I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to do a buffer. I'm going to tell my perspective, and then I'm going to qualify harder. That same process all over again. But let's say I'm at a nightclub and people are talking and they're dancing, they're partying. I see a girl and I go, oh my God, like that is the craziest dress, blah, blah. And we're louder because it's at a nightclub. And I pull her away and I just say like, hey, come here. I want to talk to you. I'll be yelling a little bit louder, but I'll be in her ear. And this is a great excuse to get close, right? If it's louder, and it's a great excuse to isolate more. I can say, hey, friends, I'm just going to be right there where it's a little bit quieter, but I want to ask your friend something. And I'll say, so like, I want to know this. Whenever I meet somebody that's just beautiful and hot at a club and all this sort of stuff, yeah, like, are you a real person? What was the one real thing you did today? What was it? Let me ask you, what does love mean to you? Does it just mean like a boyfriend you said it to, or what? And just be like, what? I say, look, like, hold on, buffer time. I'll say, look, I'm not meaning to put you on the spot, but I'm putting you on the spot because look, you're hot and I want to know. I don't want to waste my time. But this is what I'm saying is like, love is something that you can feel in so many different ways. But if you're afraid of it, if you don't know it, if you run from it or run to it, or you don't like yourself, you're going to look for it in all these ways that fuck you up. But if you can see it in your life, you can hold and sit inside the tension of love and make a choice about it. And if I go on a date with you, I want you to be able to sit in that tension if it happens and not make a stupid decision, and me not make a stupid decision, because people make their worst decisions and most pain that comes from that. So let me ask you again, you look at me, look at me. Are you somebody that is willing to feel that? And if not, like, do you value that? Do you value it? And they say yes or no, or they look at me all doe-eyed, and I just say, look, you're beautiful. Like, I want to pick you. If nobody was here right now, I would make love to every part of your soul. But maybe we should save that for later, because it would ruin it now. I don't want to fuck good things up. Sexual tension, guys. Boom. Off of the intent. But that's how we work it. Same model. Same fucking model. Do not say this is too hard. All right. You want to live a good life? I'm giving you answers, and I have a bunch of free shit to help you get there. All right. Third thing. I know this is going a long time. I apologize. But take your notes and all that sort of stuff. But the third thing is decision. And this is the most important. The most important tipping point of rapport is choice. All seduction, all rapport is dependent upon choice. This is something that actually Hans Komain was talking about in his last video that, well, at least that I saw. You should definitely check out his channel, man. Guys, seducer through and through. It's fucking awesome. It's good shit. I'll post a link to it in the notes as well. But one of the things is that choice is key. And so there comes to a point where we need to give a woman a choice. Now, how men make choices is a lot of times we're blunt, or we're too bold, or we polarize people, or we demand an answer. And those things can happen, but we have to do it while speaking in the language of a female, which has to do with mystery and with all sorts of other flavor and beauty that comes into it, and richness. And anyway, whatever, I'm getting too off on this non-masculine sort of talk. So let me tell you how to do it. What we want is we want to put her into a point in a conversation where it's kind of loose, and then give her a road to walk on, where she deliberately chooses to walk on one of those directions, right? So this could be the direction of, I don't like you and I'm going to walk away. Or this could be the direction of, I do like you and I'm going to stay. That choice is going to need to be there. All right. This could be, I'm going to open up and tell you everything, or I'm going to be superficial and not tell you anything, but continue talking to you. We give that choice so that she knows she's empowered. Now, this happens all the time in sexual escalation, where we say, hey, I'm going to stop and I'm going to stop pressing, but I want you to kiss me how you want to kiss me. I want you to take action on my body of what you want. This is, again, choice. All seduction, all connection, how it works is that, and how connection swims and engages within somebody else, is 100% based off of how we choose. So all connection is based off of how we choose. All expression depends upon choice in order to have it work. All right, so let's get into the nitty gritty of how this actually plays out and all that sort of good stuff, because let's put it into a conversation. Again, we're going to do generally the same thing, but in that area where we tell a ground and where we qualify, we're going to demand a choice. So this could be something like this. Like, let's say I notice a unique quality, so I'm going to engage the other components, unique quality and values and so on. I'm going to say, you know what, you have your voice, it just, man, it reminds me of so much of, look, it reminds me of when I was a kid and I used to sit on this porch and just look at the sky. But are you somebody that, do you believe in your dreams, or have you given up on them? Okay, so now I'm now asking my first question, which actually has to do with a value of who they are, right? So eliciting a value. I'm trying to go for that. Now I'm going to buffer and I'm going to say, look, I know it's a big question, and I don't want it to freak you out, but the reason why I'm asking is because there's people that I talk to that believe in their dreams and so on and all that sort of stuff, and they talk about it, but they don't actually live it. And there's people that don't believe in that. I don't want to talk to them. But people believe in their dreams, people believe in their values and what they love, but they don't actually live them in their life. So let me just ask you today, and I want you to think about this, but have you done something for yourself today? Like, has that happened? And so she's going to be confused by that. And that's probably a confusing answer for you. You're like, what the fuck is Steve talking about on that last qualifier? You've done something for yourself. So, but that gives me an opportunity to explain it more. And I'm going to, again, do another ground. And I'm just going to say, no, I'm serious about this. And I'm going to touch on kind of a thing that I did in the previous eliciting values one. And just say, I'm going to tell you this, like, you're beautiful. And with beauty, there comes a certain responsibility that if you're beautiful, do you know how to choose with that? Do you know how to lead with that? Do you know that too many people are going to want you, and it's up to you to say yes and no to them? So I'm asking you, I see beauty in front of me and I don't know it and I want to know it more. But can you be responsible with it? Can you say yes to this conversation? Like, this is what this means, right? And so she may still not get it there, but I'm going to say, like, look, you're beautiful and I see that. Do you want to keep talking to me or not? Because if you stand here and let's say if I call you and you pick up the phone, you're picking up the phone to that. And that's a lot to me. And I know we just met, but that's how I live my life. Okay. So in that, I'm now putting a choice there with a lot of intention behind it and building up mad sexual tension. Another thing that might happen with choice there, okay, that's super, and these are power. Choice is the most powerful. This is the fucking best, right? So I could be talking to somebody and we're talking about such and such back and forth. And let's say I do a tease or a neg or whatever. And they say like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. And I say, you did not just do that. You did not just do that. That's so, oh man, it's like a make or break moment. Like, look, I'm going to tell you something right now. Like, I'm going to ask you what you're passionate about. Okay. So there's the question, and I probably don't need to buffer so much here, but ask a question. And then I just explain, I said, but I'm asking you what you're passionate about because I want to see if you're going to give me some one word answer or something but whatever, or you're going to really show yourself, because passion is something that makes people live. So what do you live for? What are you passionate about? So I'm diving in towards that value, pretty hardcore, right? And then I'm going to skip and jump to what is it that you live for? What is that? What is that? And she says, I don't know. So she's there searching for that answer. She's in that limbo of that answer of like, what do I live for? What am I passionate about? All this sort of stuff. And she's trying to answer it. I can now pace down and I could offer that choice. So I could pace down and say, like in the previous ones, I stated intent and said, man, that makes you attractive or that's beautiful or whatever. But now I'm going to offer a choice because it's hard for her to answer, right? She's in that limbo state where it's too difficult. What are you passionate about? What do you live for? She said, man, I mean, there's so much. I mean, I can't tell you. And blah, 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 blah. And she gets nervous and start talking about it. And I just cut her off and I just say, hey, look, I can go back to having fun and dancing and that's cool and what's happening, tonight or whatever we're doing. But just know I'm a very deep person and I saw a deep part of you. And at some point you have to let me see that deep part. And if you don't, then just say some cool stuff, go get a drink and disappear for the night. But if you keep talking to me, just know I don't want to see somebody lying in front of me, right? I don't want to see somebody lie through their dance or through their fun or whatever, because I see beauty, I see sex, I see love, I see lust, and if you run from that, I mean, shit, you're somebody that I can't trust. You know, Federico Fellini said, you can't trust somebody who doesn't love eating, because somebody who doesn't love eating doesn't love sex, and somebody who doesn't love sex can't be themselves. I think I fucked up that quote, but it was something like that, and it was good. Anyway, so those are the three things that we're using to get into rapport and build sexual tension. And now these are three things that are super easy for you to do. They may sound hard because you're not used to it, but again, the Instant Connection course will get you there step by step of how to do it. More importantly, you can also be a part of our boards. So that's the fucking bomb, right? And how you get there is you go to the free stuff link down below, and you're able to access the Austin Men's Development Group. You can join the MD Excellence call, which I've been talking on this thing for like 40 minutes at this point. So they're probably like waiting to talk and all this sort of shit, because they were saying some awesome stuff. They were talking about like souls connecting and, you know, living inside of each other and finding God through sex and beauty. But that's the philosophy of sex, the philosophy of love, and the philosophy of being a man, which is what we talk about here. So if you're interested in any of those things, in what really, really works with a group of guys that are actively talking about what sex means to them, boom, this is what we do on the calls. This is what we break down. And man, you guys just get a little glimpse of this awesome stuff on wherever you're listening to this, on iTunes or Stitcher or YouTube or whatever. But if you're only going to be a part of our community there, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. Just leave a comment. Just be a subscriber or whatever they say. In any case, guys, I'm signing off. Have a good day. I'm going to get back to this call, and we'll talk to you guys soon.